Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I'm Tamer.
And I'm Arthur.
We are members of the Samuel Birch EMBA 13 group. We're going to be talking to you today about emotional intelligence and why it's important for managers to understand what it means for them in the workplace. Emotional intelligence is not just important for your OB studies. It's talked about everywhere nowadays, in books, in the media. They're even trying to teach it to robots. But what is it? And why does it matter?
Leading theorists such as Thorndike coined the term social intelligence back in the 1920s, but Salovey and Meyer are usually considered preeminent in the field as we know it today. They defined 4 branches of emotional intelligence. 1. Perception, appraisal and expressions of emotion. 2. Emotional facilitation of thinking. 3. Understanding and analyzing emotional employing emotional knowledge. 4. Reflective regulation of emotions to promote emotional and intellectual growth.
Daniel Goldman in 1995 built on such theories and looked at how they work in practice. In other words, how emotional intelligence or lack thereof plays into our relationships, our professional lives, even our health. For the purpose of this video though, as we mentioned, we're going to be focusing on emotional intelligence in the workplace and how you as a manager can both recognize it, or again where it's missing, and use this knowledge to your own professional advantage.
We felt this focus on practical application of emotional intelligence was really important. And so we decided to put the problems managers face front and center and demonstrate how EQ, as it's often known, can be of use in situations frequently faced in the workplace. So we surveyed 50 members of our MBA class, asking them to pick 3 of the top 10 issues commonly identified as keeping managers awake at night. The ones they picked were 1. Conflict situations. 2. Having to do something they did not know how to do. And 3. Burnout. The rest of this video, we're going to talk through how emotional intelligence plays a role in each of those problem areas. And show you some scenarios of how EQ gone wrong can make a bad situation even worse. And how a little bit of emotional intelligence can go a long way in helping you as a manager.
So, according to our research, the number 1 issue that keeps managers awake at night is conflict with their bosses or peers. In fact, a recent study by CPP Incorporation showed that 85% of employees at all levels experience conflict in the workplace. And that equates to employees in the United States spending 2.8 hours every week dealing with conflict. That's equivalent to $359 billion in paid hours in 2008. So dealing effectively with conflict is really important for managers, both in their own interactions with others and in terms of leading their teams. 89% of employees have experienced a workplace conflict that escalated, which can result in huge losses in terms of time spent on resolution, failure of projects, sickness and absence on the part of employees, and even grounds for dismissal. Now let's look at an example of how a lack of emotional intelligence in a complex situation can turn it from a frying pan into a full-blown fire.
You're late again. And when's that article? You were meant to send it to me yesterday.
What? You said tomorrow. It was definitely tomorrow.
That's ridiculous. It has to go to print by tomorrow. I needed it yesterday. And frankly, with your skills in the writing department, editing it in one day was always going to be a struggle. What's the matter with you?
What's the matter with me? What's the matter with you? You can't keep changing your mind about when you need things.
I didn't change anything, you idiot. Coming in here late, no regard for deadlines, and I'll be the one to get the blame. I'm sick and tired of you doing this, Alice.
You get the blame. You always blame everyone else for everything, Andy. I don't need this. You'll get the article when you get it, and you'll just have to deal with it.
I've never had to work with such a lazy, incompetent...
Whoa, Andy. Take it easy. Now let's play that again, this time using the ABCs of EQ identified by Goldman: self-awareness, managing emotions, and empathy.
Is everything okay, Alice? I'm still waiting on that article. I'm getting kind of worried I won't have time to edit it so we can hit the deadline.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Andy. I'm having a terrible week. My son is sick, my cat died, and my car broke down, which is why I'm late today. I've nearly finished it, though.
Oh no, I'm so sorry to hear that. Is there anything I can do?
Well, I could send you the first half for editing now, if that would help.
Absolutely, that would be great. Then I can get on with it while you finish the rest. Will you be done today?
Yes, of course. No problem. Thanks for being understanding, Andy.
No problem. With everything else, just let me know if there's anything I can do to help.
Thanks again, Andy.
Now that's better, isn't it? Great. Let's join Arthur, who's going to show us the effect of burnout.
Burnout often manifests in very negative conversation about the company and management, and is usually diagnosed based on how negative the outlook of employees are about their jobs or bosses. As employees become ever increasingly detached from their roles and disengage with their jobs, the risk of burnout increases. EI skills can help to realize they are having these emotions and respond to them by managing their stress levels better to prevent themselves falling off a cliff. According to research conducted by Savi Sachia and Wahida Khan at the Prin Levinger Institute of Management, this ability to recognize one's exposure to stress and negative outlook can have a buffering effect on burnout symptoms and can be used to reduce its impact. We'll see now two conversations between employees, both of whom are working in a stressful environment. Watch how a different approach to the environment can play if one employee can recognize what's happening to them and doesn't keep reinforcing the negative outlook on the other.
Oh man, this is just typical. My boss just walked up to my desk and dropped another last-minute project in front of me. He's always doing that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. This place is a mess. Management are constantly playing catch-up, and we're the ones that get punished with rush jobs.
And to top it off, my teammate Cindy called in sick today, so I've got her work to do as well.
Nothing ever changes around here. Might as well just call in sick myself tomorrow.
That's the spirit. We'll see how Cindy does when I don't show up tomorrow either.
Now with a positive spin.
Oh man, this is just typical. My boss just walked up to my desk and dropped another last-minute project in front of me. He's always doing that.
Wow, that's tough. Do you think you'll be able to get all of it done in time, or do you need some help?
And to top it off, Cindy, my teammate, called in sick today, so I've got her work to do as well.
The same thing happened to me last week, too. I ended up getting really stressed out and felt quite overwhelmed. You know, one thing that helped me was to take a short break and just step away and go for a walk for 10 minutes.
Not sure I can get away with that. With all this work still to do, it look like I'm slacking off.
I know. It seems like slacking. But in the end, everyone needs that bit of air to recharge, especially when there's so much going on. You've got to find outlets to make sure you don't go crazy.
From our research, we know that three characteristics affect an individual and their surroundings, mostly during a time of uncertainty. An example of this is when a person doesn't know what they are supposed to do in a situation that is important. There are three important points: self-confidence, self-regulation, and self-awareness. These characteristics affect how you are perceived in a situation and affect how you deliver a task in all forms of life. In this case, we are focusing on management. We're going to give you an example of when a person doesn't know what to do and lacks self-confidence, self-awareness, and self-regulation. In this situation, note the person they are speaking to and the increased uncertainty their actions derive. In the second example, compare the reactions and specific thoughts that a manager needs to instill within their employees. Roll the MPEG file, Tamar.
Hi guys, so we have a very large project that we need to deliver in 10 months. This is half the time that we normally take, and I don't know how we're going to deliver it on time and to budget.
Okay, so how do you want us to go about delivering this? What should be our first steps?
I really don't know yet. There's just so much to do, and I don't know where to start. It's an important contract. How can we deliver this?
This is where Matt should be asking the questions and researching for the answers to find the right process and bring his employee Georgina along with him so that they can deliver the task. Perhaps try this.
We have a large and difficult project coming up which is subject to quite a lot of time constraints. We need to think about where we can be most efficient and allocate our resources best while also delivering the project on time. Here are the issues I think we need to answer. Can you help by researching these areas, and I'll look at these issues, and then let's try to resolve the issue as a team. In addition to this, let's build a timeline of what we need to deliver so we know how we're on track.
Okay, great. But what if I can't find the answer?
Well, let's look at that when we get there. We can ask people within the business and try to learn from them, but also ask others and find other means of research. This is possible even though it might be a bit of a stretch.
Note the confidence and the self-regulation that Matt is showing in the second example. This motivates and encourages people in the problem. The first example scares them.
So there we have it. We hope that these three scenarios have given you some understanding of how emotional intelligence plays a role in dealing with difficult situations in the workplace, and how you can apply this in your own professional life. As Daniel Goleman says, we have two minds, one that thinks and one that feels. By paying greater attention to both your own and others' feelings and understanding how emotions frequently motivate interactions and reactions, you may well be able to solve some of these problems you face in your workplace. From the Samuel Birch Group, thank you for being with us today, and have a better night's sleep.